We've got three of the best guitars from three of the best guitar makers in the entire world. We've got a Taylor, a Martin, and a custom handmade guitar. And we're going to be running them through a series of tests to find out the answer to one very important question. Are handmade guitars actually worth it? Hello there and welcome. So let's be honest, you've heard this discussion a million times. The age-old rivalry. What is better, a Martin or a Taylor? And I could probably rehash the same things you've heard in YouTube videos many times. So today I want to do a comparison, but with a twist. I have with me three marvellous guitars, a 2015 Taylor 814 CE, a Martin OM42 from 2014, and the shake-up here being a completely handmade custom-built guitar by Isaac Jang, completed in 2018. We are testing these guitars in not one, not two, but three different areas. The first being how they sound acoustically, the second being how they sound in an actual mix, and the third being, well, what I like to call the ear factor, more commonly known as a blind test. Let's just do a quick overview of what we're dealing with here. This isn't like a deep dive into the specs and the nuances of every instrument per se, just an overview so you can get the basis of what each of these guitars is kind of all about. First up, we have a Taylor 814 CE from 2015, as I mentioned. This guitar being from the golden era of Taylor acoustic guitars, being one of the last guitars they actually created with an X brace before they moved to their slightly newer scalloped V bracing, which sacrificed the kind of traditional sound for a slightly cleaner, more modern sound, and also improved the intonation higher up the neck. But the purists still think the X bracing is the best guitar. So this guitar, being a grand auditorium shaped body, means it sits somewhere between an OM guitar and a dreadnought, so kind of the best of all worlds. You should hopefully still get enough power for loud strumming 4-chord wonder songs, but also enough delicacy for fingerstyle, your kind of jack of all trades Swiss Army knife of guitars. This guitar kind of representing flagship quality from Taylor's factory back in 2015. And then in corner two, we have the Martin OM42. This guitar made kind of just before they introduced the Reimagined series in 2018, where they actually moved the X bracing a little bit closer to the sound hole. Some say online the Reimagined series gave the guitars a louder and more bassy feel, the counter to that being it lost some tightness and potentially some tonal balance. Which is why some people online still claim that this era was peak Martin for traditional made guitars, even though they are still pretty traditional. Hey, look, don't shoot the messenger. That's just what I've read. This also being a pre-Reimagined series has the slightly chunkier neck, which they slimmed down to help our electric guitar playing friends for the Reimagined series. And this guitar kind of representing, again, kind of top dog quality from Martin's standard production series. And last but definitely not least, we have this completely custom built OM by Isaac Jang. Now, I must admit this guitar is my daily driver and kind of is the antithesis of the other two instruments, because it's very much designed to be modern, to be polished, to kind of have that very shiny sound. It has a super thin neck, which is why I think it will play a great game of tic-tac-toe with the other guitars. It's also the most expensive guitar here, so it should be the best, right? Oh, and if you want to find out more about ordering a custom-made guitar, I actually did a full interview with Isaac himself, which you can find in the pop-up banner up there or in the link below. Alrighty then, let's dive into the sound comparisons. First up, we have how the guitar sounds acoustically in your man cave or woman cave or studio, which is kind of where the guitar, I'd assume, will spend most time, because that's where you'll be practicing, working out new ideas, practicing your scales and all that kind of stuff. Now's a good time to put on some headphones or play it through some nice speakers so you can get a real sense of the differences between these guitars. I'm going to keep quiet about what I think just for now, so I don't bias anyone's opinion. But let's run through some strumming, some picking, and some fingerstyle. Quick one, if you found this video useful or you like this kind of content, please do consider giving us a subscribe or a like, because it really does help a lot more than you think. Cheers. number 2, how the guitars sound in a mix. Now this is probably the most interesting one for me, because how a guitar will cut through in a mix is often very different to how it will sound just as we were doing, playing acoustically in your room. And it's not something you can test in a guitar shop unless you want to bring an entire recording setup into Guitar Center, which probably isn't going to happen. I've come up with 2 original tracks here, the first being a pop rock track, so you'd kind of see how an acoustic guitar fits in with a mix in a more supporting role, and the second being a more quieter singer-songwriter fingerstyle-esque guitar. Maybe some things to look out for are how it cuts through the mix. Is that a pleasing way? Is it a distracting way? Is it a nice way? Does it blend well? Does it clash with any other instruments? I've done some very basic production here just because you would never have a completely unproduced guitar in a track. Now I know mix engineer, producer skill comes into this a little bit, but I've kept it pretty basic because I feel like that's better than absolutely nothing. All right, again, I'm not going to say anything about what I think because I'm going to reveal everything at the end.
Slip underneath the sheets, lay breaking like a wave. Tonight is something like how I want this to stay. Slip underneath the sheets, lay breaking like a wave. Tonight is something like how I want this to stay. Slip underneath the sheets, lay breaking like a wave. Tonight is something like how I want this to stay.
Alright, test number 3. Now this is kind of where it's over to you, and it's time to do the ear factor. Now what could happen when we strip you of one of your most important senses, your eyes? Now you're not going to be distracted by how shiny the guitar is, your preconceived conceptions about what the instrument should or shouldn't do and should and shouldn't do in certain situations. When it's just you and the most important sense, your ears, what do you think, what do you feel, and which guitar do you prefer most for your musical needs? And please do drop a comment down below with what your thoughts are and if you have a particular favourite. Oh, and no cheating. Okay, lock in your answers now, and yeah, no cheating, don't change your mind, don't change your mind. The answers are A was the Taylor, B was the custom built guitar by Isaac Jang, and C was the Martin. Did you get it right? If you did, let me know, add it to your comment. So that brings us back to our first question. Are handmade guitars worth it? Well, as with anything in life, it's quite a nuanced answer. The Taylor, it's a jack of all trades. It will do a bit of strumming, it will do a bit of fingerstyle, it will do a bit of everything. It will give you the beans to be able to strum, it will relax itself a little bit to be able to do the fingerstyle. It isn't too forward in the mix, it isn't too far back, it just sits in that middle ground. So could you argue it's amazing at everything? Yes. But could you also say that that is potentially a limitation when you want something very specific? Maybe. The Martin, you've got a classic, very rich sounding instrument here. It's very nuanced, it's very subtle. It's kind of like it gives you a hug on a cold winter's evening. It's the hot to your chocolate, if you will. Is it as big and loud as the Taylor? No. Is it as shiny and responsive as the custom guitar? No. But do those other guitars offer that warm feeling like the Martin does? No. So again, what do you need the guitar for? What's your personal preference? Maybe buy all three. No, don't. Please consult your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. The handmade guitar, that's something else completely different from both of them. It's quick, it's precise, it's snappy, it rings like a bell, and it feels like butter to play. It does still have character, because I know often people would say, oh, it doesn't have the character and the nuance of the other guitars, but its character and nuance is brought out very much in that precision and the kind of definition maybe between the notes of the instrument. But with custom builds, the sky is kind of the limit. You just need to choose the right luthier for the right instrument you want, or maybe even contact the custom shop at Martin or Taylor, because the variations you can get on those sorts of guitars are basically unlimited within the realms of your budget and the luthier's skills, of course. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one of these guitars is better than the other, because none of them are better than the other, and all of them are better than each other. That's right, it just depends. But what I can say that I have hopefully done is given you a way to hopefully judge these guitars whilst having a lot more information to back up your opinions. And if there is one takeaway from this, it would be to shop with your ears over your eyes. As shiny and curvy as they are, do not buy because they are shiny. Buy because of how it sounds, how it feels, and how it makes you feel in your soul. Leave us a comment down below and let's have a chat about the guitar buying experience. One last thing before you go, thanks ever so much for sticking around to the end, and I have a special treat for you. If you or anyone you know is looking for some live music for their upcoming wedding, event, corporate birthday party bash thing, maybe consider checking out our website, Cotswold Wedding Musicians. We create bespoke musical packages for any sort of event. If you liked what you've seen or heard, we've got plenty more videos on the way, so give us a like and a subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.